Hello, I'm Emily, and welcome back to this week's News Bytes. This week's newsletter is on John chapter 8, verses 12 through 59, and it's called Light, Truth, and Freedom. From Eliyahu, Shalom, friends. Are you sick of hearing about artificial intelligence yet? Other than flying machines, strong AI is probably the most anticipated technology in history. Interest in it and predictions about it go back at least to the early part of the 20th century. As far back as silent movies, there were depictions of intelligent robots as friends of man or as sinister overlords and enemies. Superman animations from the 30s pitted the Man of Steel against intelligent robot enemies. Later, movies like The Terminator and The Matrix predicted a future world dominated by super intelligent machines. With its sci-fi past, it is hard for many of us to take AI as a serious threat to mankind. This reluctance to see such a threat is still true, despite dire warnings of the dangers of AI by some of this world's notables in technology, like the late Stephen Hawking and the Wonder Boy, Elon Musk. It appears that 21st century technology is developing far faster than the ability of most people to keep up with it. Already, a lot of the science fiction of the 20th century is a normal part of 21st century life. For example, the high-tech communicators of Dick Tracy or Captain Kirk are more than duplicated in our ordinary cell phones. If that technology could make the leap from fiction to reality, why not AI? Indeed, some hold that AI has already passed the Turing Test in a number of important areas. That test was named after Alan Turing, who invented it in 1950. In 1951, he predicted, at some stage, we should have to expect the machines to take control. So, what is the essence of the Turing test? When Alan Turing, the father of modern computing, racked his considerable brains for a test that would truly indicate that a computer program was intelligent, he landed on this area. If a computer could convince a panel of human judges that they were talking to a human, if it could hold a convincing conversation, then it would indicate that artificial intelligence had advanced to the point where it was indistinguishable from human intelligence. At first, it seems like a high bar for a computer program to hold such a convincing conversation with a human that it would be accepted as one. However, it turns out that human listeners make that easier than it would otherwise seem. Would you believe that a computer program from as far back as 1966 was able to get people to respond to it as if it were human? Here's the story. Joseph Weizenbaum, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, as early as 1966, when computers were still programmed with large push cards, developed a piece of natural language processing software called Eliza. Eliza was a machine intended to respond to human conversation by pretending to be a psychotherapist. You can still talk to her today, if you feel so inclined. Talking to Eliza is a little strange. She'll often rephrase things you've said back to you. So, for example, if you say, "I'm feeling depressed," she might say, "Did you come to me because you're feeling depressed?" Doesn't seem that intelligent, okay? Anyways. When she's unsure about what you've said, Eliza will usually respond with, "I see," or perhaps, "Tell me more." That sounds like a shallow conversation, so I don't know how she convinced humans that she was human, but that's my opinion. For the first few lines of dialogue, especially if you treat her as your therapist, Eliza can be convincingly human. This was something Weizenbaum noticed and was slightly alarmed by. People were willing to treat the algorithm as more human than it really was. Before long, even though some of the test subjects knew Eliza was just a machine, they were opening up with some of their deepest feelings and secrets. They were pouring out their hearts to a machine. When Weizenbaum's secretary spoke to Eliza, even though she knew it was a fairly simple computer program, she still insisted Weizenbaum leave the room. The Eliza Effect was named for this computer program, the tendency of humans to anthropomorphize machines, or think of them as human. In recent years, AI has had some amazing successes, such as beating all comers at even the most difficult strategy games such as chess and Go. Even poker, a game of bluffing, has been mastered by AI. Further, a recent study found that AI can now diagnose medical images as accurately as human doctors. Even AI music and poetry, an area that many had thought could never be the domain of AI. There is now a music composing computer called Iambus, which produces work sophisticated enough to be deemed worthy of attention by professional musicians. Iambus developer Francisco Vico of the University of Malaga and his colleagues carried out a kind of Turing test by asking 250 subjects, half of them professional musicians, to listen to one of Iambus' compositions and music in a comparable style by human composers and decide which is which. The computer piece raises the same feelings and emotions as the human one, and participants can't distinguish them, says Vico. We would have obtained similar results by flipping coins. The rate at which artificial intelligence systems are surging forward in just the last few years have some people delighted and others alarmed, and rightly so. A growing number of informed experts are starting to believe that futurist Ray Kurzweil may be right. He famously predicted that by 2029, computers will have emotional intelligence and be convincing as people. This possibility has the scientific community talking about, of all things, spiritual questions. Further, they readily admit that they don't have even simple answers to questions like, what is consciousness? Or what is human spirit? How about, what is life? Believing in materialistic Darwinism, they're wondering if AI will evolve into a new form of life, machine life, and if so, what will that mean for humanity? Clearly, AI can be programmed to present as human in any number of different areas. But is that the same as being human? The Bible answer to these questions is very simple. God created man in his own image, with moral characteristics and abilities that transcend mere data processing. While machines may be able to process data far faster than any human, they will never be able to love anyone or even care about anyone, despite a cute little face of molded plastic. Yet, more and more, we are foolishly handing the machines the keys to our communities, our communications, our economy, our homes, and even our lives. This is indeed a frightening picture for the near future of this world, and it's true. We are always giving up our autonomy in order for convenience that machines offer us. Cell phones, location, gosh, there's so many things, I can't even name them. The Eliza Effect, or the tendency of humans to anthropomorphize objects, is nothing new. In ancient times, people worshipped carved idols as if they were real gods. Now, AI is arising as a new kind of image in a world that already idolizes technology and the pseudoscience religion. Revelation 13 tells us where this is all headed. It was given to him to breathe to it, to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as wouldn't worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, the small and the great, the rich and the poor, and the free and the slave, to be given marks on their right hands or on their foreheads, and that no one would be able to buy or to sell unless he has that mark, the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 13, 15 through 17. Realizing where the world is so quickly headed, we do well to look to Yeshua in earnest. He's our only real defense against the sinister plot of the enemy that we see even now being constructed before our eyes. Yeshua imparts to us light, truth, and freedom that the world cannot even understand, much less overcome. Knowing Yeshua guards us against the lies and deceptions of the enemy. Yeah, we all know that's true. And that's something else. Robots, no matter how real, or AI, no matter how real they may come off, can never know the love of Yeshua, ever. They can pretend to love. Even so many people don't understand Yeshua's love because it's different than their definition of love. So, AI can never understand that. That's just obvious, though, really. there was a lot of this newsletter that reminded me of the Building the Beast video that Eliyahu did. And I remember Ray Kurzweil mentioned in it, and Elon Musk. There's a lot of excerpts from interviews they did, which really sheds more light into how far technology has come and where it's going and where it's being pushed towards. Like, I do recall there being I can't recall the name, but it was a supercomputer, basically. And the guy talking about it referred to it as like an altar to an alien god. And if that doesn't speak of demonic influence to you, well, I don't know what could convince you. It was pretty damning, in my opinion. Excuse my language. But anyways, you can find that video in the description. I'll post that there. The Building the Beast video, more about the AI. And I'd also urge you to watch the Light, Truth, and Freedom video to feed your spiritual side and grow your faith and help you see, like, no matter what they do, as long as we have Yeshua, we have the true power. And I remember E saying that he was really looking forward to 2030 when all this technology is supposed to kind of rear its ugly head, because then we can shine forth Yahweh's glory with Yeshua's power and resurrection power in us against all of the world and their AI and the beast system. Because no matter how daunting it looks, it's nothing compared to our God's power. And if you're a believer, you know that. But you know, it never hurts to be encouraged. So thank you for joining me. Hit the like button if you like this video. Comment and subscribe, hit the notifications, and I hope to see you next week. And here's the video.